allow me to please have fun, introduce fun to this evening. We just want to chill. We're here to celebrate excellence. To get us underway, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call upon the chairperson of the board at the South African Medical Research Council, Professor Mike Machaba Satige. Please give him a round of applause.
Good evening, and thanks for coming to this occasion. MC, thank you so kindly. Of course, have to acknowledge the Minister, His Excellency, to be here, because all of you had already been acknowledged. It would be improper to repeat that, but just to again reiterate that university leaders that are here and esteemed scientists, it is a privilege that you could honor this event and come here. Indeed, you would agree that this is indeed the pride of science in the country. This minister is actually proof that your support is not in vain. It is worth the while. We're going to see the awards, and we're going to see why those awards are given to people, and that will give testimony to the fact that our country, it's a world-class science community. These awards, of course, the president will mention, but of course the previous president, who is also in the room, why we restarted it again, and the importance of that is to try and again revitalize science and make sure that able scientists achieve even higher than what they are doing today. But of importance, it is also to try and say that we are acknowledging not only outstanding scientific work, but over and above that, what leaders are doing in their community, how they impact on the lives of the people. And this is the testimony that we are going to see, because tonight is not about speeches. It is about celebrating excellence. I will not waste time except to say that on behalf of the board and the people that have done this excellent work, you are welcome. Thank you. I would want to call the president to come and elaborate a bit.
I'm going to elaborate. We are to celebrate science. I want to acknowledge the Honourable Minister, Mr. Trish Hanekom, the DG of Health and the DG of Science and Technology, the ex-president of the MRC, Slim, where are you? I saw you in a moment. There you are, Slim. The deans, Farid from SANRC, all protocol observed, because I'm going to forget someone or something. And I'm happy to know that the health attaché of the US and the Indian consulate is here. So the idea is not to have lots of speeches, but to celebrate science and to celebrate the scientists that make South Africa a spectacular place to be. Slim did an excellent job to revitalize the MRC, and he instituted the awards dinner and the gala and the medals again. And we're going to continue with this tradition to celebrate and honor scientists in South Africa, particularly medical scientists, as we try and make a big impact in science in South Africa, in Africa, and internationally. So I'm going to ask, where's my MC? He disappeared. My MC, it's over to you. We're going to leave you to take care of us tonight. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the Silver Awards next. But I was sitting there at my table, and you know, people are asking me, so what do you really do? Who are you? Yeah? No, we see you, but who are you? They want me to tell my story. You know, who am I? You know. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was not joking at all. So, if you can imagine this with me, it's in the late 90s. I stay in this dodgy place in the south of Johannesburg called Orange Farm. Anybody know Orange Farm? Anyone? You do. That's better. That's much better, because in many places people hide the fact that they know Orange Farm. So they give me these middle-class faces like I have no idea, you know. And some of them I know them from there. Which is just crazy. So I grew up in Orange Farm in the late 90s, and it was a funny time because I was staying in Orange Farm, but I was studying for my first degree. And I say first because in this context you must always pretend there's more, you know? So I was studying for my first degree, and working at Mr. Price clothing store part-time. And it was a very funny time for me because the people that I saw at home in Orange Farm, the people that I saw at work in some middle-class area called Meadale in the south of Johannesburg, I used to think it's a rich area. Now I know it's actually middle class. And the people that I saw in Vanderbijl Park when I was studying my first degree were totally different. One of the things that shocked me about these middle-class people who, when I was working at Mr. Price, I just couldn't understand why all these middle-class rich people are wearing RT jeans. I just didn't understand, because where I came from in Orange Farm, you just don't wear a jean that is 99 rands. I mean, really now, you know? I mean, I was looking at these people, it's like, why? I mean, these people are buying jeans for 99 rands. In fact, there were 2 for 99 rands, and they have money, and they were even asking for discounts, and they are not even Indians. And I was like, what is going on here? What's wrong? Because where I come from, we wear style. I mean, we're really poor in Orange Farm, really, really poor, but we're wearing Calvin Klein jeans, some shoes called Posh or Rosemora. Do you know those? Who knows those? Those are the ones that come in awkward colors like yellow and red. Sometimes we wear yellow on the left and red on the right. We are cool like that, and we are really poor. I mean, we would come out of these shacks, these dodgy shacks, but we'll be wearing proper clothes, you know? And I mean, I don't know if you know, there are shacks and then there are shacks. You know, there are shacks that appear on SABC, they look very nice. There are shacks that appear on ENCA, they look better. But the ones that appear on CNN, yo. You're like, is this still South Africa, you know? So, and the shacks on CNN, they look very bad. They look dodgy. They look like they're about to fall. And whenever they show them, there's always this dark kid in the background that looks so hungry, but really dark, like navy blue kind of dark. I don't know if you know that dark. And whenever they show that kid, there's always a fly in their mouth. I know you just had starters. And I don't know how they get the fly thing right. It looks like they say, we're about to take that shot, bring the fly in 5, 4, 3, 2. So I grew up in Orange Farm, ladies and gentlemen, and now I actually have 4 degrees, to be honest. So no one can tell me that this democracy is not working. How? Now I'm part of the successful middle class. How? You know? And how I knew I'm part of the successful black middle class is that I had a robbery in my house 2 weeks ago. And I thought, I've finally made it. Because until you have something to rob, you are still up and coming, you know? Okay, let's get on with the business. We're going to do some silver awards first. I'm going to invite on stage the DDG, Dr. Claudine Lotz. Please join me on stage. Please come this side. Let's give it up for Dr. Claudine Lotz. If you may come this side. No shortcuts, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting with the Silver Awards for emerging scientists. And I'm just going to read for you what emerging scientists mean. Why are you sending me things? Why is this? Is this a trap? I can't even read this. Yeah? Is this a script? Huh? No, I'm joking, ladies and gents. The Silver Medal Awards for emerging scientists are awarded to up-and-coming scientists for important scientific contributions made within 10 years of having been awarded their PhDs. These emerging scientists are recognized for their research contributions that impact on the health of people, especially those living in developing countries. So I'm just going to read the citation, and then I'm going to invite the awardee to come join me on stage. The first award that we are giving is for Associate Professor Helen McKilleroy. And Dr. McKilleroy is Associate Professor in Clinical Pharmacology at the University of Cape Town. Together with her research partners, she evaluates the pharmacokinetics, which is PK, and pharmacodynamics, PD, of anti-tuberculosis and antiretroviral drugs in East, West, and Southern Africa. She has pioneered evaluation of PK and PD and pharmacogenetic relationships in large populations of patients within TB, which allows definition of target drug concentration threshold. Her work provided key evidence to support the World Health Organization's recently revised dosing guidelines for treatment of childhood tuberculosis, and her studies in HIV-infected adults and children with tuberculosis have informed national policies and international guidelines for antiretroviral treatments in patients on rifampicin-based TB treatment. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea what I've just said. But please help me welcome Dr. McKilleroy. Thank you.
I'm her boss. she couldn't make it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, the gentleman on stage does not look imaging to me.
Or female.
Or female. So, ladies and gents, her boss is accepting her award on her behalf. Thank you very much. I actually don't know what imaging means, but I just know it doesn't look like that. Can I say such things? Is that okay? And the next recipient, ladies and gentlemen, of the Silver Award for Emerging Scientist goes to Dr. Musa M. Mhlanga. Dr. Mhlanga heads the Laboratory for Gene Expression and Biophysics and holds a joint appointment at the Institute of Molecular Medicine in Lisbon, Portugal. He has sought to extend the molecular tools we have for protein to mRNA and thus to create a more complete understanding of basic cell biology. It is from this basic understanding that the ability to manipulate biological systems, thus synthetic biology, can emerge. He has brought his extensive experience working with advanced imaging and microscopy tools to bear on one of the most fundamental questions in cell biology, understanding how genes are regulated and the role pathogens such as viruses and bacteria play in this. Sounds very important. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Musa M. Mhlanga. That's black and white there. That's proper black and white right there. Huh? Did I apologize in advance? I'm quite ungovernable. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the next recipient for the Silver Award goes to Professor Makama Andres Munyeki from the NWU. Makama Andres Munyeki is a professor in the School of Biokinetics, Recreation and Sports Science at the Faculty of Health Sciences of the Potchefstroom campus of the Northwest University. Professor Munyeki currently has held a Y2 NRF rating since 2008 and received the Janssen Silag Award for a Best Research Article, as well as a certificate for the Young Researcher in 2003. He's a principal investigator of the NRF and MRC funded self-initiated physical activity and health determinants longitudinal study in adolescents attending schools in the Tlokwe local municipality. Professor Munyeki, in his career as a lecturer and a researcher, contributed immensely to knowledge in the area of body composition, i.e., undernutrition, overweight or obesity, physical activity, epidemiology, and health-related fitness in children and adolescents. Sounds like someone I should see. Because, you know, the reason I'm this big, it's in my genes somewhere, the Moyo metabolism. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Professor Makama Andres Munyeki. Ma'am, are you Professor Munyeki's partner? You look like one, Thanks for bringing him. Thank you. Thank you very much. And the next recipient, ladies and gentlemen, for the Silver Awards is awarded to Associate Professor Thomas Scriba. Dr. Scriba is Associate Professor at the University of Cape Town and Deputy Director of Immunology at South African TB Vaccine Initiative, a large research group focusing on development of new tuberculosis vaccines. He leads a clinical, that word. Can someone help me with that word? Immuno? Yeah, that one. immunopathogenesis of TB laboratory and has led the immunology analysis for more than 10 clinical trials of novel TB vaccines conducted in a setting highly endemic for TB. He's member of several international working groups on biomarkers and vaccine immunology and is actively involved in postgraduate training. He received bachelor's and master's from the University of Stellenbosch and a DPhil from Oxford University, and trained in pediatric and clinical immunology in tuberculosis and vaccinology at the SATVI in Cape Town as a postdoctoral fellow. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Scriba.
My name's Greg.
Yeah. Does he look imaging?
You can Photoshop Tom Scriber's face.
Thank you, receiving the award on behalf of Dr. Scriba. I mean, you can already see the on behalfs as they come. You can see that. So we need Photoshop.
Okay, this is for Tom.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you very much. And the next recipient, I'm trying to be so efficient, and it's very hard. Very, very hard. Dr. Grant Theron. Dr. Theron is a senior scientist in the Lung Infection and Immunity Unit in the Department of Medicine at the University of Cape Town. His research is on tuberculosis and drug resistance, which represent a public health crisis in sub-Saharan Africa. I don't know if you notice, I get confidence when I see words that I understand, and my voice lifts. And then when I see the stuff that I don't know, I drop my voice, you know? And I think the guys at the mics, just work with me. If I look confused, lower the volume. Just lower the volume. Deal? Deal? Yeah, deal. Deal. Cool. His research is on tuberculosis and drug resistance, which represent a public health crisis in sub-Saharan Africa. He has focused on the design and field evaluation of improved diagnostics for TB. Dr. Theron recently led a landmark 4-country randomized control trial of the Genie Expert test for TB. He is also a recipient of the Young Investigator Scientific Prize awarded by the International Union Against Tuberculosis and Lung Disease, and he was selected as one of the top 100 young South Africans by the Mail and Guardian newspaper. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Grant Theron.
Professor Bongani will also. Can I give you a
There's two problems there. Number one, you just don't look like Grant Theron. And then he says he is his boss. Hi guys, you know. Are you really his boss?
He's my son.
Yo, aye. We have a good story to tell. Okay, the last silver award is different. It's for capacity building. Professor Christoffels is the director of the MRC's Bioinformatics Unit, SANBI, at the University of the Western Cape. In 2010, Prof. Christoffels introduced a bioinformatics internship held every December for BSc graduates of the University of the Western Cape. He coordinated 13 genomics workshops at the SANBI. These courses were so far attended by 744 South African students and researchers. In 2010, he introduced a bioinformatics internship held every December. I'm repeating myself, Mos. Let's go here. Prof. Christoffels' continental research support includes hosting bioinformatics workshops for African biomedical researchers. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Professor Alan Christoffels. Welcome. Congrats. I mean, as he's coming here, you can see he's just saying, this guy must just not say anything, you know? And I have nothing to say, so he doesn't have anything to worry about.
At least you didn't have the boss now.
Thank you very much, ladies and gents. Those are our silver awards. And thank you very much to the DDG as well. Give her a round of applause. Okay, ladies and gents, we're still gonna have a lot of fun, right? We're gonna have a lot of fun. How? Who said scientists can't laugh? What are you laughing at, man? At me, or you're laughing with me? Yeah, with me. Thank you very much. I feel blessed. Ladies and gents, we're gonna go to the Gold Awards. I'm gonna ask one of our board members, Dr. Sibongile Kumbi, to join me on stage. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first Gold Awards is to Professor Qureshi Abdul Karim. Prof. Qureshi Abdul Karim is the chairperson of the South African National AIDS Council's Prevention Task Team and the Vice President of the African Academy of Science in the Southern African region. She was the founding National Director of the Southern African National HIV/AIDS and STD Program in the Mandela government. She is the Associate Scientific Director at CAPRISA and Professor of Epidemiology at Columbia University in New York. Through her pioneering scientific work in HIV and AIDS, she has empowered and continues to empower millions of women, particularly in rural South Africa. She is the recipient of several prestigious international and national awards, including the 2013 African Union Kwame Nkrumah Award for Science and Technology, the 2012 Prize for Medical Sciences from the World Academy of Sciences, and the Order of Mapungubwe, awarded by the President of South Africa in 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Professor Qureshi Abdul Karim.
I think this is the first time when I see Prof. Slim just accompanying, not being the main person, you know, and I'm enjoying it so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the next Gold Award goes to Professor Rachel Jukes. Professor Jukes is currently the director of the MRC's Gender and Health Research Unit. She is a former acting vice president of the SAMRC and is an honorary professor of the University of Witwatersrand School of Public Health. She's an A-rated scientist. She is secretary of the Sexual Violence Research Initiative and the director of the What Works to Prevent Violence global program, which seeks to advance knowledge on prevention of violence against women and girls in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. She is a member of the WHO Expert Advisory Panel on Injury and Violence Prevention and Control. Her work has spanned epidemiology, anthropology, clinical research, and research in the health, education, and justice sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate Professor Rachel Jukes. Ladies and gentlemen, the third Gold Award is for the African scientist and goes to Professor Charles Rotimi. Professor Ratimi is the chief of the Metabolic, Cardiovascular and Inflammatory Disease Genomics Branch and the director of the Center for Research on Genomics and Global Health in the National Human Genome Research Institute of the NIH. His lab conducts genomic and epidemiologic studies that explore the patterns and determinants of metabolic disorders, with particular emphasis on African ancestry populations. He is a member of the Executive and Science Committee for the International Federation of the Hugo Council. I think it's quicker. Professor Ratimi is also the founding president of the African Society of Human Genetics. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Professor Ratimi. For our esteemed MC, Mr. Moyo, that was St. Mark's.
I can hear the difference, eh? I can hear the difference. Thank you very much. Congratulations to Professor Ratimi. Dr. Sibongile Kumbi, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. You know, I just decided that when I see a familiar face here and I can't remember their name, the easiest thing to say when we are here, just say doc. You know, 99% of people who are here, they are doc. It's safe. And I go, hey doc! And you got it, just right. And they think you remember them. Some just amazing things. Really, really amazing. And to present our Platinum Awards, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the Vice Chairperson of the Board, Professor Zodwa Dlamini. I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to bow or...
I'm going to be calling upon the Platinum awardees. The closest I've gotten to Platinum was only the credit cards. And I'm very honored today that I'll be at least be closest to the Platinum scientists. The first awardee is Professor Gregory Hassey. Professor Hassey is the Director of Vaccines for Africa Initiative and Director of the Clinical Research Center at the University of Cape Town. He also serves as Senior Research Advisor in the Faculty of Health Sciences, UCT, and he has been an ad hoc World Health Organization consultant for the past 20 years and serves on a number of the influential committees. He was the founding director of South Tuberculosis Vaccine Initiative in 2000 to 2009 and developed this into a leading TB vaccine clinical trial site globally. He was also the first director of the Institute of the Infectious Diseases and Molecular Medicine from 2006 to 2010, now recognized as one of the foremost research groups of the African continent. His current Vaccines for Africa initiative has established a significant footprint on the African continent and focuses on translation of research evidence into health policy and practice. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate Professor Gregory Hassey.
Prof. Dlamini, I'm sorry for taking over. I made a big mistake. You don't let the minister just walk into the stage just in jail without asking him to come. So apologies. Minister Anekom is helping us to hand over these awards. Apologies.
It's the first time that I'm being helped by the minister, and it's a great honor. The second awardee is Professor Robin Wood, and I'm happy that he is sitting on my table. At least there is somebody important sitting next to me. Professor Wood is currently Emeritus Professor of Medicine at UCT, Honorary Professor at LSTM&H, London University, and Visiting Scientist at Harvard Medical School. His work in the area of HIV/AIDS extends to before the identification of the causative virus, first encountering it while practicing in Zambia in early 1980s. Some of you were not born. As fellow at Stanford, his research focused on early HIV therapies and the development of HIV viral quantification. He headed the first HIV clinic in the Western Cape and researched antiretroviral combination therapy. In 1997, he became head of the Department of Medicine at the New Somerset Hospital and associate professor at UCT. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Professor Robin Wood.
I didn't know that you were going to.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are going straight to the President's Awards. And the President's Awards will be presented to us by Professor Glenda Gray, the President of the MRC, the Chairperson of the Board of the MRC, Professor Mike Satige, and assisted by Professor Spiwe Moyo. Is that such a joke? I mean, you can't comprehend the fact that I can be a professor, ladies and gentlemen. Mariah. Please give me a round of applause, me. And give Professor Glenda a round of applause, please.
So each year, the president makes awards to people that are considered international scientists who've made impressive marks on humankind. And I'm very excited to make two announcements. One, an international, well, both of them are international figures. One is an international scientist, and one is a local scientist who has international reputation. I'm going to start off with the international scientist, Dr. Tony Fauci. Dr. Fauci is the director of NIAID, and he oversees an extensive research portfolio of basic and applied research to prevent, diagnose, and treat infectious diseases such as HIV/AIDS, influenza, tuberculosis, malaria, and illnesses from potential agents of bioterrorism. He was one of the architects of the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, called PEPFAR, and has already been responsible for saving millions of lives throughout the developing world. PEPFAR supported the South African government's antiretroviral treatment program and helped with the rollout of antiretrovirals, and this led to the increase in life expectancy in South Africa. PEPFAR's commitment to CIP-MTCT program has also enabled us to have an unprecedented scale-up, ensuring high coverage throughout the country. The scale-up of PMTCT has helped reverse our high infant mortality rate and impacted substantially on pediatric HIV infection. As a scientist, Tony Fauci has contributed enormously to our understanding of the pathogenesis and treatment of immune-mediated and infectious diseases. Dr. Fauci has made seminal contributions to the understanding of how HIV destroys the immune system, making those infected with HIV susceptible to deadly infections, and was instrumental in developing highly effective strategies for the therapy of patients living with HIV, and has supported research into developing an HIV vaccine. He's a member of the National Academy of Sciences, and there are quite a few members of the National Academy of Sciences here. We have Jerry Kavadia, we have Qureisha Karim, we have Slim Karim, and we have Glenda Gray as well. So he's in good company. He's also a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, the Institute of Medicine, and the American Philosophical Society. He serves on the editorial board of many scientific journals as an editor of Harrison's Principles of Internal Medicine and as an author, co-author, or editor of more than 1,200 scientific publications. I won't even tell you what his H-index is. So he is a great man, and for this reason, he is a recipient of the South African Medical Research Council's President's Award for the impact he has made through science and service on the HIV epidemic. I'd like the health attaché, Stephen Smith, to come and accept the award on his behalf. He's busy with the Ebola epidemic, and he could not make it to South Africa. So we have Stephen Smith, who will accept it on his behalf. So I think one of the most delightful things I'm ever going to do in my life is to make this presidential award. And this presidential award goes to Jerry Kavadia. He's the Emeritus Professor of Pediatrics and Child Health based at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. And he's a living legend and a true icon of health in South Africa. Not only a medical doctor, pediatrician, educator, researcher, scientist, and author, he's also a political activist. He has been the voice for child health in South Africa, campaigning relentlessly for improving health outcomes for our children. He co-edited the Essential South African Pediatric and Child Health textbook, and I used this book throughout my life. Hand up for all of those who used this textbook. This was the Bible of pediatric health in South Africa, and I loved that book. I want you to sign it for me. So this textbook, which he made, grew many of us up, and we used it to manage sick children with this book. His early work in malnutrition and infectious diseases and experience working amongst the poor enabled him to be one of the early responders to the emerging epidemic of HIV in children. Amongst many honours and awards, he has been honoured with the Star of South Africa by the President Nelson Mandela for his contribution to democracy and health. In 2000, he also received the IPAC Heroes of Medicine Award and the Nelson Mandela Health and Human Rights Award. He's a founder member of the Academy of Science of South Africa, which recognized his contributions to science by awarding him the Science for Society Gold Medal in 2004. He has published more than 350 articles and has trained more than 40 postgraduate students. He's also the recipient of the Scientific Freedom and Responsibility Award that honors individual scientists and engineers on all their organizations for exemplary actions that help foster scientific freedom and responsibility. He receives the South African President's Award for the tremendous contribution he has made to child health in South Africa. Speech, Jerry. Speech. I think we deserve to hear. It's impromptu, and he's very good at impromptu speeches.
I've never heard Glenda say so many nice things about me. She and I, where's James? Is he around? Were my, the nemesis of the early HIV work. But I've grown to love this girl. And she is really the best thing that's happened to this association after what Slim has done. And I know she's going to take it to great heights. But I just want to tell you that for me, we all win awards, but this is a special award, Glenda. It's the culmination of all the things that have gone. But I'm going to remember this for all the things you've said, because I think from this point on, once you get a President's Award, the only route you can go is downhill. And I'm not ever going to get a speech like that on my behalf anywhere, anytime. So thank you for making these sort of closing years of my life scientific life, so important. And I am one of those guys, my son is an author at UCT, and I've always been fond of poetry. And I used to quote it a lot with every speech. But then Thabo appeared on the scene, and he ruined the scene for me, because he also started quoting Yeats and all of that. So I thought I didn't want to be in the same league as Thabo at that time, so I stopped. But I want to end with a quote which I think is really critical for all of us, because you people are really the creme de la creme. You probably, I don't know, Slim, get the figures. You're the top 1% of our scientific population. And once you get into the Institute of Medicine and all of those academies, you're also the top 1% of the world. So we have a huge responsibility and duty. I don't want to bore you with the details of the problems we face, but they're enormous, and it requires all of us to do as much as we can to both relieve and to cure and to prevent the sort of problems we are equipped to do. And I want to end with a quote which says this. It says that the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Thank you very much.
So this leaves me with a note of thanks from our Honourable Minister of Tourism, Mr. Trish Hanekom. I'm going to ask him to give us a vote of thanks.
Well, you're very cheeky, Glenda, but you're very right as well. I came here as Mr. Trish Hanekom, I was just accompanying Trish. So I am the victim of a crime called hijacking. I've been hijacked, but I don't mind. It's been a real pleasure to be here this evening. It's been great. So the chairperson of the board and the board members and the president of the MRC and the vice presidents, especially those newly appointed vice presidents, and all of you who are award winners, and to quote this MC, the rest of you. The rest of you. And especially, of course, our colleagues here from the US Embassy and the Indian High Commission. We're delighted that you're here. Of course, in my acknowledgements, I had to really acknowledge right at the end of it the MC, only because he gets very hurt. You can see he's a kind of a sensitive character, and he sees himself, this MC title of his, he sees it as MRC without the R. But little does he know that MC actually stands for main comedian. And he really has been the star of the show, the main. Let's give the MC a big. Now it feels good. Professor Simpiwe Moyo. Professor Simpiwe Moyo. He's done a great job. One thing, I'm not too sure why I'm here, but I'm here to make people feel better. Especially, let's start off with Simpiwe. He said he's the least educated in the room. Well, he didn't know that I was here. So I take over that grand title of the stupidest in the room. That's me. So don't worry, you've lost your title. For 10 years, Simpiwe sits here and he reads the thing and he says, but, I don't know what I actually read. For 10 years, I went through that as the Deputy Minister, then the Minister of Science and Technology. Then of course, the other reason that I'm here is to disprove his theory that, or rather, actually, sorry, I'm here to support him, to prove his theory that white men really can't dance. But I have news for you. I'm going to disprove your theory that whites necessarily make short speeches. You got it wrong there, my brother. No, truly. I want to say congratulations to all of you who won these awards. I'm sure You know, the MRC is just moving at a rapid pace. I think, Glenda, you're taking over from great work done by Slim. I mean, absolutely. It is almost, sort of, you know, I don't really believe in miracles. I believe in science and scientific achievement. But the turnaround in the MRC was almost miraculous. And I think it takes a person with vision, it takes a person who is driven, it takes a person with courage. And Slim did a remarkable turnaround of the MRC. I was in that position in the science and technology world for a long time. And when I started there, quite honestly, the MRC's image, prestige had really gone rock bottom. And it doesn't mean that there weren't excellent researchers and excellent scientists in the MRC. There were, and there still are today. But somehow, as an institution, it had really descended. And in a very short space of time, the right people in the right positions at the right time can do miracles, can perform miracles. So Slim, well done, fantastic. The best thing, however, that you did, of course, was choose a great successor. Who's obviously, you know, you did that turnaround work. You're the revolutionary. But the great revolutionary, you know, is a mentor and, of course, passes on to people much better than him. So you've passed on to Glenda, who's much better than you, I'm sure, at this job. I think we really do have world-class scientists in our country. And we don't celebrate it often enough. And it's occasions like this that we actually take stock and we remind ourselves what great people we have in our country, what magnificent work is being done in our country. So I want to say to all of the award winners, you really do us proud. So thank you very much. As an institution, you do our country proud. And I think it's the beginning. You know, you've got a few years ahead. Your vice presidents have only just started. They're already telling me about their great visions that they have and the wonderful things that they're going to do in the years ahead, and I believe them. You have a great minister. Aaron Motsoaledi also turned things around in our country. And he should have been here tonight, but my thanks goes to him for not being here tonight, because that gave me the chance to be here tonight. So I'll end there simply by saying, on behalf of Minister Aaron Motsoaledi, I'd like to congratulate the institution and all of the award winners. I'm sure there are many others that could also have qualified for awards. You're doing great work. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of the formal program. I want to close with this. It's actually 4 years ago when I was sort of introduced into the world of scientists, firstly through UKZN, Caprisa, and here at the MRC. And I think there's just the best way for me to explain what has happened with my understanding of the world that you do as scientists, even clinicians, is I can summarize it just by telling a quick story. So there is a certain small village in our continent here of Africa, very small village, where in this village, it is known that there's this one elder who knows anything about everything. So if you lost your chicken, go to that elder. If you don't know where your wife is, go to that elder. He just knows everything, whatever is happening in that village here in our continent. And they emerged two young people who went to study in the cities. And they said, we're going to prove that this man does not know everything. And then they did this. There's just no way, hey? There's just no way one person can just know everything. So they went on this crusade to prove that this man does not know everything. And we're told a story that, so when they came back from the city, they thought, how can we prove that this man does not know everything? And they thought of a trick that we're going to catch two butterflies. You hold one, I hold one. And then we're going to go to this man holding these butterflies like this. And then we're going to ask him a question. Say, are these butterflies dead or alive? And then if he says the butterfly is alive, we just crash it quickly and we say, nya, 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 nya. The butterfly is actually dead. And if he says the butterfly is dead, we just reveal that the butterfly is actually alive. So they thought we got him. So they go to this man and they ask, "Sir, are these butterflies dead or alive?" This man pauses and thinks. And then he says, "Young people, whether these butterflies are dead or alive is in your hands." So I want to say today, whether the health of our nation is dead or alive, whether we go strong, it's definitely in your hands. Keep going. Sometimes it can be tough, but you guys are doing some amazing work. Keep going. Our nation, the health of our nation is in your hands. Thank you.